Good morning. As we go to the chitas of the day, we go today to the second reading in the portion of Shemais, the portion of Eidah, the second portion of the book of Exodus. We're holding on chapter 6, verse number 14. Eila Roshei Beis Avesam. These are the following of the heads of the fathers' houses. Bnei Ruvain, the children of Ruvain, B'chai Yisrael, who was the firstborn of Israel, Chanoich, Ufalu, Chetzin, V'chaimi. Chanoich and Falu and Chetzin and Chaimi, Ele, Mishpachas Ruvain. This is the Mishpacha of Ruvain. Now she says, since the Torah had to trace the lineage of the tribe of Levi as far as Moshe and Aaron, because Moshe and Aaron is what what we're talking about, and yesterday we ended off with Moshe. We're talking about the story of Moshe and Aaron. So that's why the Torah starts off on Reuven. Because Yaakov, it is brought down in Piskei Rabbi, it's also brought down, Piskei Rabbasi, it's brought down the following statement. Because Jacob rebuked these three tribes at the time of his death, Reuven, Shimon, Levi, Scripture, that's the Torah again goes back and traces the lineage. What to tell us that even though you root them, they are high esteem. Bnei Shimon, the children of Shimon, was Yemuel, V'Yamin, V'Ahad, V'Yachir, V'Tzeichar, V'Shol ben Aknanis, Shol the son of the Knaniite, Eile, Mishpachas ben Shimon. These were the family of Shimon. Eile Shmeis b'nei Levi. And these are the children of Levi. The Tadaisim to their birth. Gershon, Kahas, Merari. Gershon, Kahas, and Merari. Shnei Chai Levi, and the lifespan of Levi was Shavu Shleishim Hashana, was 137 years. He lived 137 years. Levi, the son of Yaakov. Rashi says, why is Levi's year counted? These are the only tribe. Yosef, it's mentioned, but besides Yosef and now Levi is the only tribe that is mentioned in the years of his life. So let us know how many years of where they were actually in bondage. For as long as one of the tribes was alive, there was no bondage. As it says, now Yosef died, and as well as his brothers, and then it says a new king arose. So we need to know, and Levi outlived them all. So Levi lived 137. If you want to go figure out exactly one time Levi was born until the time he died, you can figure out. It's brought down the Seder Elam, chapter 3. It tells you exactly when the Shibud started, how many actually years they were in slavery. And they Gershon, the children of Gershon, was Livni, Shimi, Lishbachisa, to their families. Bnei Kahas, and the children of Kahas, was Abram, V'Yitzar, V'Chevron, V'Uziel. And Amram was the father of Moshe, as you can say soon. Shnei Chai Kahas, and the lifespan of Kahas was Shalish Ushloishim Umashan. He lived for 133 years. Now she says, from the calculation we learn that the 400 years that the Yidden sojourned of the 400 years that the journey of the Jewish people that the Torah talks about was not spent in Egypt alone, but rather it's calculated from Yitzchak Avinu. When the Torah says to Abraham that there be 400 years are going to be in Galus, it's not 400 years from when they came down to exile. Because now we know it was 210 years. But it was 400 years from when Yitzchak Avinu was born. This can be calculated from Kahas, who was a son of Levi. Kahas was amongst those who went down to Egypt. Now calculate all his years and the years of Amram, his son, and the 80 years of Moshe, who was the grandson of Kahas. You will find that there's not a total of 400 years. Many of the years are included in the father's years. So therefore, if you're going to go to the calculation, you're going to see that it's from Yitzchak Avinu, the 400 years starts from Yitzchak, from the birth of Yitzchak, until the Yidden went down to Mitzrayim was 400 years. B'nai Merari, the children of Merari, was Machli Umushi. Machli. Eila Mishpachais HaLevi. These are the children of Levi. Hikachamer is Yecheved de Dossi. And Amram married his aunt, Yecheved. Yecheved was the daughter of Levi. And Yecheved married her niece, Amram. A nephew, I'm sorry. Leisha, so he married his aunt. And that's interesting because we know the Torah, when the Torah was given later, the Torah prohibits a nephew from marrying his aunt. But over here, Amram married his aunt. It was before the giving of the Torah. Atela is Aaron, and he had Aaron, Ves Moshe. He had the two sons, Aaron and Moshe. Ushnei Chaya Amram, and the lifespan of Amram was Sheva Ushloishim Ashana. He lived 137 years. Yecheved Yedasei, uncle renders his father's sister, the daughter of Levi, the sister of Kohos. So she was born. Yecheved was born, as the Rashi said in the book of Genesis. Yecheved was born as the Yidden came, as the Jews came into, as the Yaakov and his family came into Mitzrayim. Yecheved was born. B'nai Yitzhak, and the children of Yitzhak was Kairach, V'nefeg, V'zichri. B'nai Uziel, children of Uziel was Mishael, V'eltzafon, V'sisri. Ahikach Aaron es Elisheva Basim Dodov. And Aaron took for himself a wife, Elisheva, the daughter of Aminadab, Achais Nachshon, who was a sister of Nachshon ben Aminadab. Later he comes into the story. Laili Isha, he took Nachshon ben Aminadab's sister. Atelas Nadav, and he had Nadav, Avihu, Eliezer, his son. He had 4 sons. Aaron had 4 sons. Nadav, and Eliezer, his son. Rashi says, Achais Nachshon. Why does it? This is the first time the Torah tells us who his brother was, besides by Lavan. We know that Rivka brother was Lavan. So here, why the Torah tells who his sister is? We know who the father is. There was a father. Why he tells the sister? And here we learn that when you get married, you should check out the brothers. When you want to get married, check out the brothers. Over here, Aaron checked out Elisheva's brothers. And Nachshon was a great guy. We know Nachshon was the first one to jump into the sea. So Nachshon was a special person. And they carried up the children of Kairach was Asir, Rakanav, Avyasov. Kairach had Asir, Rakanav, Yael, Mishpachas HaKarach. Eliezer ben Aaron, and Eliezer the son of Aaron. Lakach Leimim Neis Putiel. Eliezer ben Aaron married the daughter of Putiel. Now Putiel is Yisrael. one of Yisrael's names was Putiel. So he married Moshe Rabbeinu's sister-in-law. The Isha of Atela is Pinchas, and he had Pinchas, the famous Pinchas, which is going to be brought down in the book of Numbers. These are the children of to their families. These are the children of Levi. Ashi says this is Yisrael, Putiel. And why is he called Putiel? Because he fattened the cows, Puti. He fattened the calves for idolatry. And also seed of Yosef, defied also Putiel. Also comes from, because there was also, they were connected, his family was connected to Yosef, who fought against the passion of his Yetzer Hara. Verse 26, who Aaron Moshe, this is Aaron Moshe. Asher Ama Hashem Lahem. Leitzia is based so many times. So here is the lineage. This is Aaron and Moshe, where they came from. Who was asked to take the children. Was asked by God to take the children out of Egypt. Al Tzavaisam on their allegiance. Now she says, who I mentioned above, who gave birth to Yocheved to Amram. These two are the same Aaron and Moshe to the Lord said to take out of Egypt. In some places, Rashi says Aaron is placed before Moshe. In other places, Moshe is placed before Aaron to tell us they were both equal. Al Tzavaisam, on their legions, what means with the legions? All the legions according to their tribes. For examples, Al is used instead of one letter. Al Tzavaisam, meaning you shall live by the sword. Al Chabre, by the sword. So by, Al could be by. Al means really on. Over here doesn't fit. Al, on their legions, by their legion. The same word bicharbe, with a bits of Vaisam. Could have said the bays before the tzaddik of bits of Vaisam with their legions, but the pasuk sometimes use the word al. So the word al is interchangeable. Verse 37, the one who spoke to Pharaoh. Melech Mitzrayim, the king of Egypt. To take the Jews out of Mitzrayim from Egypt. Who Moshe Baran. They are Moshe and Aaron. Rashi says they are the ones who spoke. It was they who were the ones who were commanded, and they were the ones who fulfilled God's command. Who Moshe and Aaron? Over here he puts Moshe before Aaron. They remained in their mission and their righteousness from beginning to end. They didn't budge from the mission. Whatever happened, and we all know that this was not an easy job, and it took 10 plagues, and it took each plague was a month. But this was a 10-month mission. Now it came to pass on the day that we go back to the story. It came past the day that the God spoke to Moshe in the land of Egypt. That's why Rashi says, "Mechubar lemikra shalacha." This verse is connected to the next verse, which is going to say we're going to start tomorrow, which we go back to the story. We stopped over here. So reading was about the lineage of Moshe and Aaron, and now we go back to the story of the mission that they were given. That completes the Chumash. We now go to the Tanya today. We're holding the Tanya, the 15th chapter of Tanya. So in the previous chapter, the Alter Rebbe discussed the difference between a tzaddik and a beinoni. A tzaddik has no evil inclination. Since there's no longer any evil in his own soul, evil holds no attraction to him. He has no attraction to anything that is evil. He has no attraction to the world, almost. However, the beinoni, the evil remains strong. The beinoni therefore finds evil desirable. Not only is not despicable to him, but actually the world is good. He likes it. He likes it. It's only through a constant vigilance and a struggle with his divine soul that he's been able to prevent his animal soul from implementing its desires in thought, speech, and action. So now we know what the beinoni is, and simple means the beinoni is a struggling Jew. The Jew that has an inner struggle, which is even tougher than an outer struggle. It's a total inner struggle. He's dealing with his own demons, so to say. And this is a battle. This is not a simple battle. And a beinoni might think that this is an unfair situation. And what is God doing to him? And therefore, the Alter Rebbe is going to give us a beautiful concept over here in chapter 50. And with this distinction, we'll understand the following verse. It says the following verse. Usha'aftem, and you will return. Uriisem, and you will see. Bein Sadik Lirosh, you'll see the difference self-understood between a righteous man and a wicked man. Bein Ovid Elikim, between one that serves God, the one who doesn't serve God. Interesting expression. Talmud raises the question: the term righteous man is identical to the one who serves God. And the wicked man is obviously the one who does not serve him. Why then does the text repeat the contrast? And the answer, the Talmud states, both he who serves God and he who serves him not are fully righteous. Yet one who reviews his study 100 times cannot compare to one who reviews his study 101 times. However, this answer seems to clarify only the second set of singular repetitive terms, the wicked man and the one who serves him not. Far from being wicked, he who serves him not is so described only because he reviews his Torah study no more than 100 times. Yet he remains with the difficulty possessed by the first set of identical description, the righteous man and the one who serves God. What's the difference between the righteous man and the one who serves God? Back above quoted Talmud interpretation of the verse adds yet a third category. He who serves him not yet is also righteous. It's only difficult to Alter Rebbe now to resolve. It is this difficulty that the Alter Rebbe now resolves based on his previous distinction between a tzaddik and a bein. So really, the Alter Rebbe is bothered between a person, a tzaddik, between a tzaddik and a one who serves God. What would be the difference between a tzaddik and one who doesn't a tzaddik serve God? And a tzaddik that doesn't serve God, what is the meaning of the statement? Alter Rebbe says, what's the difference between the one who serves God and a righteous man? Is the difference is when you say that one who serves God means he's serving him now. He's in the active duty of serving God. We're talking about a person that's in the middle of the fight. He's in the middle of the work. So the Alter Rebbe says, what tzaddik is a person that's a tzaddik who completed the journey, so to say. He's won the war. If you're a tzaddik, you've won the war. What's a person who serves God? A guy who is in the battle. A person that's in the war. That's the person who's fighting the war. The one that is fighting the war and is a person that's chasing in this little city, he's having the battle. That means the body, which is city whose conquest is objective, is the objective of both the good and evil. He's fighting the war. He's not allowing his evil inclination to take him over. It does not vest itself in the organs of the body through the evil thought of speech and actual action. Doing battle against his evil nature is avodah. And what do we call him? The one who serves God. So in essence, the pasuk says, you'll see the difference between a tzaddik and an asha, and you'll see a great difference between a tzaddik and a beinoni. Because you're going to see that the beinoni is in the active service. This is a constant battle with one's evil nature. Truly entails much effort, avodah, service, and toil constantly. And that's the beinoni. That's exactly the beinoni. It is he who must wage battle. It is the beinoni who's called the one who serves God. For he's actively engaged at the present in his service of God. Ava tzaddik, tzaddik is not called the one who's in the service. Nikra Ervid, he's considered an Ervid. He's like already a servant. B'shem Atayr, he has the title of an Ervid. He is Eved Avraham Avinu. I am the servant of God. Refers to a person on the person himself. It is not merely a description of one's active role as the designated one who serves. He is already the entity of service. Like, for example, the term servant is similar to the one who is a stage already. He's a chacham. So you have expression Talmud chacham, a student of a stage, and then you have the chacham, the one who is a stage. He already passed his test. He already overcame his challenges. Or a king, he's not becoming a king. He is the king. He became a chacham, a sage, or a melech, or a king. He's not becoming a king. He's not in the service. He's already there. So when the pasuk says, you'll see the difference between the one who served God, he's in the service. So he still didn't become a tzaddik yet. And maybe he'll never be a tzaddik. He will always be in the service of God. So to the tzaddik has already affected. He completed, accomplished his service by waging war with his evil within him, transformed evil. He'd banished already evil from him, and it's gone from him, leaving the seed of evil nature of his heart void within him. As he said before, Rav Melech says, "What's a tzaddik? My heart's void. I've already accomplished the service. I am now the active service. I'm there already. I am the chacham. I am the tzaddik. I am the servant." What is a servant? Somebody who's a servitude. So he's there already. He's not a practicing servant. He's still the mode of learning how to maybe to be a servant. He's in the service. You see now that the expression of a righteous man and he who serves God are not repetitious. He who serves God is not this description of a tzaddik, but of a Beinoni. So that is the Alter Rebbe says that when a verse says you will see the difference between what is righteous and what is wicked, and one who serves God and the one who doesn't serve God is actually talking about three people. A tzaddik is a righteous man who's accomplished who's transformed evil, who has transformed his nature and has become a righteous individual. A Rasha is a person that loves his nature. He loves what he has, take it the way it is. And then we have the Beinoni. The Beinoni who is in the service of God, who is in the midst of the struggle. And now the Alter Rebbe is going to teach us what Shaloi Avodeh, what means a Beinoni that's not in the service. Beinoni yesh b'gam keishtei madreges. And therefore, you have two levels of Beinoni. Beinoni is such a complex and a very difficult journey in his life that he has two modes. He has the mode when he's in the service, and then when he's not in the service. That means he's not struggling with his Yetzer Hara. He's just not in the service. And he'll explain that. Ma'afav became Ein Nikar Rasha, but nevertheless, even though he's not in the service, he still doesn't do anything evil. Because Alter Rebbe keeps on underlining this. He never committed even a minor sin in his life. A Beinoni. The Gam Kaim called mitzvah shef shalom kaim. He did is doing every mitzvah that he could do. The Talmud Torah K'nai Kulam, he's in the surely learning Torah, which is equivalent to them all. Will I pass up from Megiddos? And he's never ceased from his study. So how is such a person called not in the service of God? How do we call a person who never sinned, who's doing everything right, never does a sin, only does good, only learns Torah? We're calling him a person who doesn't serve God? What is that meaning of that thing? Here, the Alter Rebbe tells something phenomenal. And the truth is, it's something so important to us. Because the Alter Rebbe is going to tell us the service of God is having the machama. We need to go to war with our nature. We just can't let it say, you know what, just ignore it. Service of God is transforming of nature. So if even have a person that is perfect, he serves, he davens, and he learns, and he does all mitzvahs, and he never does an aveda, but he never went out against his nature. He never went out to war to change his midas, his nature, his emotions. He decided to just ignore it. Then you're not serving. Because the Bani has to realize that as long as he doesn't change himself, challenge his nature to transform himself, he's not in the service. He doesn't wage war against his evil inclination. To vanquish it through the aid of the divine light that is in his godly soul. The b'meichai, which is in his mind, Ashalat al-alev, which rules over the heart, as I explained before. So he never uses the godly soul and divine light illuminating it are the Bani's answer to his evil inclination. He who serves him not does not struggle with it. So the Bani is the one who says, you know what? Leave me alone. Hear no evil, see no evil. I am not involved. I am not going to get involved with my nature. I'm not going to get involved. I'm not going to go out to war. I'm going to do everything right and not get involved. The problem with that is the Bani realizes he's not a tzaddik. And as long as he's not a tzaddik, that means his Yetzer Hara, his animalistic soul is alive and well. He's just ignoring it. And that's not a one who serves God, because if I have an animalistic soul, if God gave me an animalistic soul, God wants me to do something with it. Not to just ignore it or make believe it's not there or just go in denial that it's not around. No, the Bani knows that he has to go out to war with it. And when we go out to war with our animalistic soul, we are in the service of God. Because in this Bani, his evil inclination does not oppose it. See, we might not even, that's why it shows us we're not a Bani even. Because the Bani, the one who doesn't serve God, his Yetzer Hara is ignored. He doesn't do any sins. He's involved in Judaism 24/7. He's involved in godliness 24/7. So his evil inclination does not oppose him at all in attempt to deter him from his Torah study and divine service, and thus he need not wage war against him. And that's his mistake. Kegoin, and Alter Rebbe gives an answer. Kegoin shu maspid b'lemudim tivotos. A guy that Pashut loves to learn by his nature. He Pashut loves to learn Torah. Of this guy as Gabris Amarash Torah, due to his stolen temperament. He's a depressed individual, likes to sit in the show in the base of Medrash, learn Torah all day. That shows how great he is. That's thank God that he has such a nature. Let's say a guy doesn't have a desire. I mentioned a couple of times the struggle that we have with men have a struggle with immorality and evil thoughts. Let's say you have a guy who doesn't have that. And the Alter Rebbe says due to his frigid nature. So he's a frigid guy. He's a kalt neshama. He's a cold person. He doesn't have any tivus. So thank God. Not because he challenged it, not because he overcame it, because thank God he doesn't have that kind of it. Some people, Baruch Hashem, don't have an addictive kind of a character. Phenomenal. You're unbelievable. You didn't overcome the addictive character, your addictive character. You just don't have it. So you cannot say oh, look at that person that has it, he can't overcome it. Thank God I don't have it. Doesn't prove I'm better than anybody else. That's why in essence, Moshe Rabbeinu was an honor, because he said, the Eibishter gave me a gift that I'm a godly person. I have the capability to reach the potential of godliness. You know, the Eibishter gives the godless the desire to steal. The Eibishter, God gives the immoral guy the desire to do immorality. God gives the addiction to the addicted person. God gives depression to certain people. God gives challenges to people. And what does that show? That shows that God wants you to go out to war with that. He doesn't want you to ignore it. He wants you to go to war with it. He doesn't want you to ignore it, forget it. I don't need to deal with it. Yeah, you can do that. And you can serve God. You can be in the service, so to say, but that's not called the service of God. Because that's denying something that God gave you. God gave you this challenge, and challenge it. If God gives me a challenge and he wants me to challenge it, that's the proof. The biggest proof is that I should overcome it because God gave it to me. God gives me the good. God gave me a Yetzer Tov, and God gave me a Yetzer Hara. God gave me a godly soul, and God gave me an animalistic soul. I didn't go to the store and buy an animalistic soul. And God gave me all these tendencies, whether I have a certain tendency for a certain desire. And that's why we have 7 emotions, and each and every one of us have all these 7 emotions. And we have Ava and Chesed, desires for certain things, and we have anger and Gevura, and we have Netzach, we have ego. And some of us have it more in this, some of us has more in that, and God's an equal opportunity challenge giver. And he gives everybody their challenge. And nobody's challenge is, we always look at somebody else's challenge as easy, but not our own challenges. The other person's challenge is that he should overcome his challenge. But me, I cannot overcome my challenge. And that's the truth. Because to overcome one's challenge, Ezu, that's what the Mishnah says, Ezu Giver, who is a strong man? Person who overcomes this is Yitzhak. But if I'm not going to go out to battle with it, I'll never conquer it. So I can live a life, a godly life, and push it, put asleep my Yetzer Hara, and never change it. And that's why Rabbi said, he thought for a second, maybe I'm a Baini. Maybe basically I have denied existence in my evil inclination. Maybe I need to go to battle, man. Maybe I never did a battle with my evil inclination. And that's why being a Baini being level of Baini is much more easy than a tzaddik. Because a tzaddik might not even realize that he has to do this service. We know we have to, because we know that our evil inclination is live and well. So we're totally in denial. We're totally the pharaoh of existence. That we're not in the level of even the second level of the Baini that doesn't serve. Maybe you are. I'm talking to myself. So I'm not in the level of a Baini that doesn't serve because I'm passionate my Yetzer Hara, my desires, my nefesh of Bahamis is sleeping. I knocked it out, and it's gone for a walk. No, I know I have a nefesh of Bahamis, and therefore, if I know I have a nefesh of Bahamis, and I have desires, and I have certain character flaws, I need to go out to war with. Same b'shaita nuga elam haza. To be certain people that have no pleasures in the mundaneness of this world. By nature. By nature, he naturally lacks feeling for enjoyment. You have some people that way. They don't enjoy it. They have no feeling of enjoyment. So they, in essence, don't have to have great contemplation. To awaken up, to go out to war. How am I going out to war? If I'm going out to war, I better go and get my godly soul awakened so that it can go out to war. To guard himself when transgressing any prohibited commandment. He doesn't want to do a prohibited commandment. You also need to concentrate the love of God in his heart, which would motivate him to bind himself through fulfilling of positive commandments, even Talmud Torah, learning of Torah, which is equal to them all. Maybe he has a natural Baruch Hashem. God, thank God, he was born with a great soul and a great family, and everything is wonderful. The boy that was the girl that was born with a silver spoon in his mouth, and he is a walking godly individual. It's enough for him, this hidden love that's in the heart of every Jew, which is called he who naturally is inclined to love God. Halavai, we were mostly in that mode. Halavai, we were mostly people that God gave us a natural love of God, a natural, not to want to go against God, and push it, live a life of beautiful existence. Most of us are not in that level, and we know we have enough Shabbos. For a Jew who must engage in a battle with his evil inclination, the love hidden in his heart is not enough. And that's the problem. Every one of us loves God in the essence of our being. But that's not going to help us. To go to battle, you got to reveal this love. You should not go to battle without being ready for a battle, because you have to be ready for a battle. And being ready for a battle with my nefesh of Bahamis, with my animalistic soul, I need to awaken up my godly soul. I need to get him out of his slumber. I need to get him out of his hiddenness. I need to bring it into a revealed state. He must arouse it in an active, conscious state. Person who is free of conflict with evil, however, this hidden love, together with his natural, favorable character traits, is sufficient. And that's why the Alter Rebbe says, over here, the pasuk in essence gives us a great title. The pasuk in essence puts most of us and gives us the greatest title that can be, and that is Ovdei Hashem. We are all in the service of serving God. We, the Beinoni, who knows that he has to go out to war with his animal soul, is the one who serves God. And the one who doesn't is L'chein Nikra Eina Nikra Oved Klal. The one who's the Beinoni, who's naturally good, doesn't have to go out to war, is not as one who serves God, but the one who goes out to war. We are given the greatest title. We are the ones who serve HaKadosh Baruch Hu. Going back to the one who doesn't serve God. Because his Latin love. The palace of a cloud is not making or achieving by any means. That Beinoni that doesn't serve God, he should thank God that God gave him these talents. He shouldn't criticize anybody else. A person that doesn't have addictive mode character should never criticize a person who does have an addictive character. You should thank the Eibishter that God didn't give an addictive character. You should say to Masenu, you Baruch Hashem, you bequeath the inheritance from your father. I'll explain later. So that you have never been challenged in life and you're not the person, don't hold yourself anything high. You're not the one who serves God. You're the one who's given by the gift of God. And the truth is, we should realize this, even if we're not, because I say many times, we are certain things at tzaddik, we're certain things of Beinoni, we're certain things of Rasha in our lives. Because we're not tzaddikim, and we're struggling Beinonim. We're trying to be a Beinoni. So we have certain things that we have in life, certain things which we don't have to struggle with there already. Baruch Hashem, as the Alter Rebbe mentioned before, Heger Nasa Teva, we overcame with the Chacham already, with the Melech already, with the King. We have accomplished. There are certain things that we are at war with, and there are certain things, and hopefully we are at war with it, with Avaya, we're at war, and we should be at war with it, and we overcome it. There are certain things. Baruch Hashem, we don't have a battle with it. Not because we have overcome it, not because we have changed it, because Baruch Hashem, the Eibishter didn't give us this, didn't give us the challenge. So Baruch Hashem, hopefully nobody kills. Not because he overcome that Aveda lay Tirtzah. It's not his nature. Not his nature. The Eibishter didn't give you a natural thing to kill. If you don't steal, it's not in your nature. Baruch Hashem, the Eibishter didn't give you the desire to steal. That doesn't mean that somebody else who God has given that desire that's what Chumana said. You should daven for him, not criticize him. That's because you have not been given that nature. And then you have a person that's a Rasha, that's not only struggling, but losing the battle. That's the Rasha, the one who's losing the battle. He's not a Rasha V'Ralei. He's a Rasha that's losing the battle. The Mitzvah one day will win the battle. But even when he's a Rasha, he should fight the battle. Be in the battle, even when you lose, as long as you're in the battle. To give up, then you're out of the battle. To give up to evil, then you're out of the battle. You're out of the game. This Alter Rebbe concludes the thought that within the level of Bein there are two subcategories: he who serves God and he who serves him not. Powerful concept. So we can have a person, you can look at him, and he is a total wonderful person. But he can be in the category of doesn't serve God. He's just naturally was given some certain greatness, and he was born in a certain family, and he was given a certain education, and Baruch Hashem, thank God, he is a wonderful, godly individual. But he's not in the category of one who serves God. He never battled with his Yetzer Hara. He never went out to war with his evil inclination because he doesn't have it. Because he has it, but he doesn't have the inclination. He doesn't have the natural disposition to evil. So too, now he goes on now to say that even one who's not naturally endowed with a trait favorable to God's service may yet come under the category of one who serves him not. So too, a person who's not inherently studious. Actually, here Galatz, this is the problem also. when we win the battle, and now it becomes a natural thing. And now it becomes boring. Becomes just a natural thing. Ergo nasa teva. So now it becomes a natural thing. Like some people put on tefillin, like to put the pants on. It's a natural thing. You're not gonna walk out to the street without your pants. You're not gonna walk a day without putting on tefillin. That's what's gonna happen. And we dive in naturally. Just read the words, and we do mitzvahs naturally. Actually, here God's a little bit smarter, Gedele. He accustomed himself to study diligently. So that habit has become a second nature. Thus, diligence is now natural to him. And he's lost the fight. He's lost the concept of having to fight. He doesn't need to fight anymore. He's become a natural mitzvah doer. Trust me, it's unbelievable. But it's not the one who's at war anymore. He's not an Oved Avaya. He's not the one who's at war. We're looking for a couple of good men. God is looking for the Marines. I'm looking for a couple of good men. I'm looking for those who are ready to go out to war. I need to transform evil. How am I going to transform evil if you're not going to go out to war with evil? How will we overcome our challenges if I'm going to give you a life without any nefesh habahamis? You know how boring life would be without my nefesh habahamis. And that person is daile b'ahamis teres. For that person, it's enough the hidden love that God has given to him. Everyone is gifted with his hidden love. Unless he wishes to study more than usual. Now comes the challenge. So the guy who naturally studies, he loves to study, will add. So that's now his challenge. So everybody, even when we, in essence, as the Alter Rebbe is going to explain, everybody, even they have overcome the challenge, now you have to lift the bar up. You got to lift the bar up a little higher. You got to lift it up. Problem is, most of us pick the bar too high to begin with. No, first pick the bar to where you can overcome the challenge. And then if you overcome the challenge, it comes your nature, lift it up a little higher. Lift it up, then you become the service guy. If you're not going to lift it up a little higher, you're going to fall into the category of Ashalai Avadeh. You're going to fall into the category of the one who does not serve God. So to do so, you must arouse a conscious love of God inside. That's what he falls into the category. The Rebbe would always say, either you're going up or you're going down. Standing in one place is going down already. You gotta constantly go up. The Beinoni should never fall into the Alei Avadeh. You should never fall into the category of the one who goes out of the battle. But that easily happens. I overcome the challenge. Oh, I feel good. I'm accomplished. I'm finished. I need a vacation. You need to uplift the battle. You need to uplift the bar. You need to go a little higher. And now the battle begins again. Because what I've accomplished yesterday, I'm going to lift the bar up a little bit. So I'm going to need to go out to war. I'm going to have to overcome my nature again. Because I'm going to go more than I usually do. And now I'm going to have a battle with that. And I'm going to overcome it. And I'm going to go a little more. And that's why the expression is Ma'alim B'Kodesh. When it comes to holiness, go a little higher. That's what the expression says. When it comes to physicality, it says, who is a wealthy man who's happy with his lot, with what God's given him physically. But that's a terrible state when it comes to spirituality. When it comes to godliness, never be happy with what you have accomplished. Always put the bar a little bit higher. Always Ma'alim B'Kodesh. Always go a little, not too much. I don't want to overexert the circuits, but a little bit. A person should always push himself to go a little bit more. So if he established to learning every day 10 minutes a day, If he feels comfortable with that, go 15 minutes a day. Move it a little bit more. Give tzedakah every day a penny. Give it a little bit more. Start giving a nickel. Move up. Move up in godliness. Go back into the service. Go back into the struggle. And then you'll be able to, you'll realize that's challenge by challenge. You'll overcome and you'll come better and stronger. And you'll self-understood bring about a greater revelation of godliness into this world. Alter Rebbe established a beautiful thing over here. I hope you realize the concept of these three concepts. You'll see the difference between a righteous and a wicked man. And the difference, which that's an open difference. That is an open difference between the one who's righteous and one who's wicked. Or between the one who serves God and the one who doesn't serve God is in one person himself. That person who's a Bainani, who's a middleman, he himself can fall into two categories. He can be the one, because it's an inner struggle. He can be the one who is trying, because he won't, imagine you see a Bainani, a guy who is totally devoted to godliness, doesn't do any sins, doesn't talk any evil, he doesn't even think evil, he doesn't surely do anything evil. How do you know that if you're servicing God or not? Only he himself, only myself know. Am I trying to struggle? Am I going out to war with my nefesh abamis or not? As Alter Rebbe is going to continue, but this ends right now. We'll continue this concept. This is an important concept because that is the pain, the struggle. So many of us don't like to struggle. And Alter Rebbe is going to tell you the greatness of the struggle, that you should not only struggle, but you should actually dance that God has given you the struggle, as you're going to continue in Tanya, that we should realize the greatness. And he gave you already a title, that if you are a struggling Jew, if you're the one who goes out to war with your evil inclination, you have the title of Eved Havaya. I've given you the title of the one who's in the service of HaKadosh Baruch Hu. You're the Marines. You are in the service of God, which is not the title of a tzaddik, surely not the title of a Rasha. It's only the title that God gives you, that you are in my service. You are the one who serves HaKadosh Baruch Hu. You're the one who serves God, the one who challenges himself, the one who overcomes his challenges, the one who overcomes his nature. I am giving you that nature, that desire, that natural tendency. And now I'm asking you to come into my service. I want you to become into the service of HaKadosh Baruch Hu. What's in a greater title we can all have? Be Evdei Hashem, that we are in the service of HaKadosh Baruch Hu, in the service of God, to accomplish God's mission in the world, the transformation of the world. We're in that service, Baruch Hashem, which a tzaddik is not in that service, Rosh is surely not in that service, and not even the Bainani, who is wonderful and he has all wonder, he's in that service either. That's what God has given you. I'm trying to just bring into practice. That is God has given you challenges, whether it's depression, melancholy, desires, any kind of problem that you have. Beautiful. You are now in the service of HaKadosh Baruch Hu. We have now become in the service of God. And that's what the Alter Rebbe says, even if I've overcome the challenge, so I've now, Baruch Hashem, God should give me a great Yashikayach. He does. And then God says, no, get back into the service. Make it a little harder. And now we come back into the service of God. Don't lose that title. Always be in the service of God. And not after the Kutcha Brichel. I'm in the service of the Eibishter. I always want to be in the service of God. I don't want to lose that title. I want to continue to be in the service of HaKadosh Baruch Hu. Therefore, the Alter Rebbe is saying that even if I do an Aveda, God forbid, I don't lose that title. Actually, the title becomes more important. I better fix it now. I better get into the more service and now fix the negative that I've done and do tshuva and realize that the services has gotten more important and more relevant because if chas v'shalom I do something bad, shows that I really better get to work. And I really better work on my change of who I am and what I have done. This is such a beautiful Alter Rebbe. It puts us on such a wonderful, beautiful level in life to really think about things in a whole different light in a whole different mindset. Today is the 23rd day of the month. In the Tehillim, it's chapter 108 to chapter 112. If you do chapter 108 to chapter 112 in your Tehillim, in your Psalms, you do the chitas of the day. Nothing better than the chitas. Wish you all a good day, and Amir Shem, we'll see you tomorrow when we'll continue at 8 a.m. chitas.